Boom, baby. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another podcast in your life. I had my camera set up, but like I was saying, guys, welcome back to another podcast. And no, Bang is not sponsoring this video, but this is the only Bang that I will recommend people drinking. It's Bang Purple Haze. I use it for a pre-workout. It's made in the US of A. It has 0 calories, 0 sugar. I don't know exactly if that's true or not, because you know how some companies will say certain things, right? This is the only one I drink, and I only drink it specifically for working out. That's the only time your boy will drink this stuff. But what I wanted to talk to you guys about today is if your YouTube channel isn't popping, right? And your social media isn't popping, and you think, oh my god, I should be the best, biggest YouTube channel doing what I'm doing. Look at it like this. Look at the big channel that you support, or whatever motorcycle content you support, or whatever content you are trying to be, and look what they're doing. Either try to mimic it or try to outdo that. Does that make sense? Because I realize when you're sitting back looking at, let's say you're a motorcycle channel and you look at somebody like Chase on 2 wheels. The mother trucker has a car following him around with like the best quality camera that they could afford, making the best content. So it's not just one angle of the camera on your helmet, it's another camera angle, right? Because you look at it like this, people, like, especially like if you're doing podcasting, like Joe Rogan, he has the best quality of video and the best podcasting microphones and everything like that. So you look at what people are doing. Either they say it's the amount of content you produce. If you're just massively producing content, you will eventually get your views, and people will start enjoying your content. And I see it with these YouTube shorts. Literally my other channel where I do I guess you'd call like little musical topics, like I'll talk about like Metallica doing something, or whatever the topic is for music, and they're little YouTube shorts, and I was just curious how that would work, right? It says that channel has 4,755 subscribers. In the last 28 days, I have 63 new subscribers, and I have 27.8 thousand views, right? So over 28,000 views pretty much. And they're just YouTube shorts that are about a minute long, and some of the videos are getting a lot of attention. Some don't get that much attention, but I do notice the more engaging ever since I started doing these YouTube shorts. And I think the YouTube shorts, they're okay for certain kinds of videos, but I just think longer form content, like I made a video where it says Kiss, Gene Simmons still blames fans for making metal music be terrible. He blames metal music. He blames the fans. He blames the music. He blames there's no relevant bands since like the 1980s, right? He says Metallica was the last relevant band that made it into a big time artist, right? And I'm sitting there thinking this whole time I'm thinking, so you don't think Alice in Chains, Nirvana, Stone Temple Pilots, Slipknot, Disturbed, all these artists aren't relevant. All these artists aren't keeping rock music alive. And this Gene Simmons guy goes on to say that, oh, the fans ruined rock music for downloading the content. And it got 2,509 views with 21 comments, right? But the problem is, Gene Simmons has been irrelevant for freaking years. Nobody wants to hear what Gene Simmons has to say. And he's on tour right now, right? He says this is the farewell tour. You've been saying this for years, Gene. You've been saying this for years. This is the farewell tour. You've never been metal music. You party all day, rock and roll all night, whatever the hell it is. It's not great music. It's never been good. And why would you talk shit, to be honest, about the fans who supported your ass for all these years? That's what I don't understand, is this clown will talk shit about the fans for years. All the fans ruined the rock music. There's no relevant rock bands. So you're telling me Greta Van Fleet, which is a modern day group that has some decent music and they sound like Led Zeppelin, you're going to tell me that that band sucks. They're not relevant. You're telling me Korn, which is a huge artist. You're going to tell me that bands like System of a Down and Limp Bizkit, they didn't keep rock music alive. You're going to tell me bands like Papa Roach, or even if you don't want to say it, that they're metal or rock, Five Finger Death Punch. They're still kicking ass. They're still making a lot of music, right? They're more relevant than this guy. If the fans downloading rock music killed the genre of rock music, then how the hell is every other genre, from rap to country to pop music, all... And if he says rock music is dead, then how come the Welcome to Rockville Festival last year in November here in Daytona Beach, Florida, had 151,000 people show up? Rock music isn't dead. Gene Simmons is what is dead. And I'm not saying that it's a bad thing that he feels this way. I just think the older you get, the more out of touch you are. I just believe that's the case. Because I've never been a fan of his. I'm not saying if you are a fan or you're not, will it make you a better person or a bad person? No, it's not going to make you a bad person if you support Gene Simmons or you like his music. I just don't find his music appealing. I just find all his comments towards the rock and metal community to be very piss poor. He talks crap about the fans, but he uses like clickbait. This is another farewell tour. Is it really a farewell tour? Or are you going to come out in 2024 and say the same thing? This is a farewell of the farewell. It's a clickbait. It's just clickbaity stuff. It'd be like Ozzy coming out saying, hey, this is Ozzy coming back with another tour. And it's like, didn't you say in 2016 this was your last tour? And I go, well, yeah, that was what it was, but now I need more money. It's ridiculous what these dudes say. It's very ridiculous what these artists say and what these artists do, right? Because how do you on your fans? How do you on the rock community that supports you? How do you do that? And how do you claim that from 1990 to 2022 there's no relevant artist? You can't tell me Killswitch Engage is not a relevant artist, even if you like them or you don't. You cannot tell me that band keeps rock and metal music alive. You can't tell me that in the death metal scene, Cannibal Corpse have brought that music to the forefront. Yeah, I'm gonna say there's not, like in death metal, there's not like, oh, it's a genre of music that has a lot of mainstream appeal. There's still artists out there that still make good music, and people still go, you're telling me the last relevant metal band is Metallica? Why? Because they're famous? They're the most famous band of all time. You're going to tell me that Killswitch Engage or Disturbed or even Linkin Park, they didn't keep rock music alive? Pfft, this dude is so far like, woo, it's not even funny. And he loves it when people talk shit about him. He loves that shit because, like I said, it's unrelevant. When you're an unrelevant individual, you don't understand Spotify is where most people get their music, or they go on YouTube and just type in like the greatest hits album. Like when I was at work today, we were listening to the Eagles, Hotel California, but I typed in the Eagles greatest hits, and we were listening to that while we were working. And like one of my friends said, most modern day music sucks ass. Most modern day artists suck, and we were more preferring to the rap genre. He said most of these rap artists suck. They mumble. They're not talented. But it is true. The older you get, the more you kind of like that nostalgia feel, and you don't like the old. You like more of your youth kind of bands compared to what's new. But I still put on like the rock playlist on Spotify, and I'll listen to all these new up and coming bands. And I'm like, oh, there are some bands that kick major ass, like Wage War, Ice Nine Kills, I know for some of you guys, you're like, I don't know who those are because you're not into rock and metal music. But at the end of the day, it would just be the same thing if Eminem was talking crap about all the rap fans. Oh, the reason rap music sucks. Or if it'd be like Joey D is talking about all comedians. Oh, the reason why stand-up comedy right now sucks is because the fans are illegally watching Netflix and just watching stand-up, and they're not going to the shows, so that's why stand-up sucks. Joey D wouldn't say that because he knows the fans are what makes him, and if it wasn't for the fans watching this podcast, watching this stand-up, people wouldn't go out of their way to enjoy his stuff. Then he wouldn't be making money. So he always really supports his audience. He always talks positive about his audience and always makes sure his audience is uplifted and has like a positive vibe through his podcast. He always tries to tell people, this is how you can make money, this is how you can do this is what I did. So it's kind of more like an uplifting kind of vibe, right? But at the end of the day, like I said, that's the only reason I don't support Gene Simmons, is the fact that he's so negative towards his audience. He's so negative, but he's always sitting there with like toasters and water and whatever, trying to sell different products, which I don't fault the guy for making his money. Do you, and do what you can to make your money, but don't just shit on your audience. Don't just shit on your fans. Don't just shit on the rock community, who is what pays your bills. If it wasn't for me or you, he wouldn't have a career. He's got to realize that. But I think he's at that point, he's so famous, he doesn't even realize what reality is. He's so rich, he doesn't even realize that Spotify helps out a lot of small bands, or uploading YouTube little live streams, or doing Twitch, or doing all these other things is actually what helps these small bands succeed. If you're just relying on your classic hits and that's all you're doing, because that's all Gene Simmons is a classic act that does the same set list over and over and over, just like Metallica and all these astronomical big bands. They're a hits band. They don't write new music that's good. They don't write anything. It's the same thing. Let's do the fire and flames and shoot blood out of my mouth. We've seen it all the time with this guy. But like I said, today it's just so more easy, I think, to find artists that are good, but it's so easy to find artists of all genres of music, comedy, that just suck ass, because once they built a following on social media and started uploading music or comedy or whatever they're into, or car videos, whatever you're into, or motorcycle vlogs, whatever it is, and you built an audience, that doesn't mean you're successful or you're good at it. It just means you were ahead of the game. You started in 2019, you started in 2015. You've been doing it for so long that you built an audience, right? So just because you built an audience doesn't mean your stuff is good, because there's a lot of big YouTubers or big podcasters that you listen to their shit and you're like, this is boring, this shit sucks, this shit ain't great. And the reason it isn't great is because it's not. They just ended up somehow getting an attention because they were doing it before everybody else. That's the reason I think Joe Rogan is so popular, because he was doing podcasting before everybody. But he also had a built-in audience. That's the thing that a lot of people don't realize. Some of these people already had a built-in audience. That's why they could grow a Twitch channel, a YouTube page, a podcast, because they already had a built-in audience before they jumped into that space. But because they've been doing it for like 5, 6, 7, 8 years, someone like me or you who just really started, you can't grow as fast as them. But I also, like I said, one way to get a lot of attention, if you're doing like I said, motorcycle vlogs, look at the biggest vlogging channel for that genre, because I would say moto vlogging is a genre of video vlogs. What are they doing that you're not? They have 2 camera angles. They might be using a 360 camera. They're doing something that is a lot different than just one camera angle, with a car vlog, they're doing something that is a little different. They're using a GoPro. They're doing something that stands out, that makes it more enjoyable than just one stagnant camera angle or whatever it is. Same thing with podcasting. They might have 2 or 3 different camera angles to make the podcast a little bit more exciting than just one stagnant camera angle. But like I said, that's just why I think like Joey, for example, he's so real. It's not even funny. I've shared his stuff with a lot of friends, a lot of people that I know, and they look at it and go, Is he for real? He's really talking about taking a dump in his friend's backyard? He's really talking about that? And I'm like, oh yeah, he's funny. He doesn't talk about stuff that he hasn't done. He talks about real life stuff that he's done, and it's just so astronomically crazy. You're like, how's that real? But everybody I've shared his stuff with is so funny. But Joey Diaz is now starting to do comedy again. And that's one reason I wanted to talk about him, because he's starting to do comedy again, starting to go tour again, or play little gigs here and there. And I would love to see him before he retires, because he's one of those dudes that is so outrageous, you can't believe his He's so outrageous, you can't even believe his shit is real. But that is my take on Gene Simmons and Joey. Joey Diaz is coming back to the stand-up stage, where he's going to be performing, I think, with Brian Callen, and then he's doing a show. So he's starting to get his thing out there. So hopefully he can come to Florida, and I can see him and see his show, because I'm a big fan. I've always wanted to see him, but he's never played where I live. So if he does come, I'm definitely gonna go see that dude, because that dude is probably my most favorite podcaster and favorite comedian. But yeah, let me know if you guys are a big supporter of Gene Simmons and Kiss, and you like what he talks about, and you like his stuff, or do you just not give a shit about the guy? You just care about, oh, his music's good, but I don't really care for the guy, the character. Because for me, I can't get behind the music, and I definitely can't get behind the character. Because for me, I don't support somebody who trash talks their audience, trash talks their crowd. But it is what it is. We will see you guys here for another podcast coming soon. It's just weird when you have a guy that you might support. You might go, I like Joe Rogan, but if Joe Rogan's shitting all over his audience, then why would you support somebody who's shitting on you for downloading stuff? That's what he's doing. He's saying, I don't support my audience for downloading my music. But it's like, he really doesn't understand the relevancy of what modern technology is. That's where people get all their music, is on this device. They put this in their car, they Bluetooth it to the speaker in their car, and they get all the music from Spotify. People aren't buying CDs anymore. People aren't buying cassette tapes. And this clown is bashing on the reason rock music is not popular. It might not be mainstream popular, but to rock fans, it's still some of the best things out there. Rock and metal fans will always support rock music. It doesn't matter if it's underground or it's mainstream, whatever it is. At the end of the day, it is always going to be a part of my life, because I fucking love that genre of music. It's the best thing, and it's got me through depression, sadness, loneliness. Music, concerts is my life, and I'll continuously support that music, because it's the only music that's real. At least I think so. But as always, it's your boy Trevor, back with another podcast, baby.